A local mainstay is about to be shuttered after 50 years in business. Building 19 is the place to go if you're in the market for a defective prison jumpsuit or mismatched dishware. But now the store that boasts selling good stuff cheap is going under. WGBH News reporter Gail Huff has more.
It's alive!
From the quirky commercials to the funky flyers, Building 19 attracted a faithful clientele for nearly 50 years.
I love this store, but I'm very surprised. I really am, because where are we going to go now?
86-year-old Jerry Ellis started out in 1964 in Hingham. Customers like Richard Brandolini still remember shopping there.
It was Building 19. That was the building number, the original building shipyard number.
Ellis bought up surplus goods or salvaged goods that were written off as losses by insurance companies. Some of the merchandise was damaged in fires or floods, but he decided to call it quits when his empire of good stuff cheap started to fall apart.
It was a very tough decision. You know, the world has changed. The manufacturing is all overseas, and when they have a sprinkler break in China, they don't call us.
Ellis says the Internet's been cutting into his business for several years, leaving the company with little available cash to buy up bargains. He claims even the supply of bargains is diminishing. The question is, what will he do with his time now?
I've always wanted to read a book, so maybe I'll read a book.
All right, and Gail Huff joins us. So this is going to surprise no one. I might as well get this over with fast. I have never been to a Building 19. And Gail Huff loves the place.
I'm obsessed.
Obsessed is her word, not mine.
I got 5 phone calls last night from friends and family. They're like, Gail, did you hear about Building 19? They're closing. It was like a death in the family. I've been going there for years. In fact, 26 years ago, my husband and I bought our dining room set at Building 19. Now, we actually have a picture of it because we still have the dining room set. The reason we got this $6,000 dining room set for under $1,000 was because the crawl legs in the bottom of the table were backwards.
Oh.
That's why.
That's cute.
There's nothing wrong with it.
And
when you sit in it, sometimes they pull their chair and they go, ooh, the legs are wrong. But you know what?
You could have that fixed. It's sort of the charm.
Well.
Right, tell people what else you bought there.
I've bought a lot of things.
How about the prison jumpsuit?
Oh, I did.
What?
It said jail on the back, and on the front it said workforce. Now, I don't know how they ended up with all these prison jumpsuits, but these were from L.A., and obviously they didn't have as many prisoners as they were planning on. But I bought it thinking I'll wear it for Halloween, which I did.
Oh, did you?
I did. I ended up wearing it for Halloween. I mean, over the years, rugs and furniture and lamps and books for the kids. It's great entertainment.
All right, now I'm going to bring in Michael Davies. He's a retail consultant and MIT professor. And Michael, you're here for the reality check. What happened here? Why couldn't they make it?
Yeah, I think this is just one of the symptoms of a broader change taking place in retail. There was a great quote in that clip you just showed us about the how strong the forces have changed. And this is simply as retail becomes more competitive, the weakest guy is going to go down. In its particular sector, there were bigger, better-run operations doing the same sort of thing. And we're going to see this happen a lot. Sector by sector in retail, the weakest will fall.
Who are Building 19 competitors?
There's Ocean State, I forget the...
Ocean State Job Lot.
Ocean State Job Lots. There's another one called Big Job Lots when we looked at them.
Oh, Big Job, that's right. Big Lots, yeah.
Better systems, better interaction, better control of their operations. It's not enough to actually just have a great entertaining experience. I think that's one of the things that they sort of had got right, particularly from talking to Gail.
The flyers are great.
Yeah.
My kind of humor. That's my kind of humor.
They're hilarious.
Well, the whole phenomenon about the emotional engagement and talking to Gail about how much you enjoy going there and the kick you get from it, they got that bit right. And that's what a lot of retail will be about, not just the functional bits. There was emotional engagement, but you've got to back that up with really good systems and really good operations.
What about the digital? What about the Internet? Did they cut into this? Because it seems like this is the kind of stuff that, unless you were shopping on eBay, but you wouldn't be necessarily getting a bargain, like the legs are shaped the wrong way. I mean, did they cut into it also?
They did, but they cut into it in a couple of ways. Not directly, so you're not going to go on the Internet and get the same sort of retail rush that Gail obviously needs. I'm sorry.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay. You're not going to get that same sort of retail rush, and she assures me she's not currently in any retail therapy program. But So you take that away, but a couple of things are happening. First of all, in general, consumers using smartphones, and a huge amount more. We talked last year sometime, just after Black Monday, and last year it was a third of consumers using smartphones who have smartphones. This year it's 3/4. It's 3 out of every 4.
Do you do that?
And when you look at...
No. When I shop, you mean?
Yeah, use your smartphone to compare.
I know. People in front of me in Starbucks do it. I don't.
Well, I'm going to tease both of you here because
he's got that pebble. We're not even going to talk about that right now, on his arm. We all want that.
Well, there's a phrase which we actually was going to coin for people who started their life before the world went digital and now live in a digital world, but still need a map to guide them around.
Sure. I still print out the map directions.
Yeah, digital tourists, I think, is the right way. You're not really immigrants. You haven't fully embraced the digital world. The reality is so many consumers have that there's two things happening. It's just putting pressure on the sector as a whole, so that there'll be more change in retail over the next 5 years than there's been over the last 50. The pressures are tightening, and in particular, other things are meaning that people don't see as much need to go to the places. So if I'm not going to be out in Natick or wherever the Building 19 is as well nearly as much, because I'm doing more of my shopping online, so I'm maybe not doing the trip that takes me past Building 19, so I don't maybe get that trigger of seeing the sign and saying, oh, I can get my fix.
Okay, but wasn't this a place to go just to do something as much as it was to shop?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, were you actually looking for a dining room table when you went there?
I was.
Oh, okay.
I was.
So.
No, I mean, we furnished a lot of our house with furniture that we bought at Building 19, which was wonderful. And again, the only thing that was wrong with it was the fact that it was, the legs were put on wrong, or, one window's broken there, or one mirror's broken, and you fix it. And, so you have to be willing to do that. But I do think that most people that go there go for the entertainment and the experience of going in, getting the free coffee, wandering around, seeing the prison jumpsuits and the crazy things that they have there. And, it's not a place you go if you're looking for a specific thing. That's for sure.
And that's, to Gail's point, that's where the competition is strongest. So they were in one of the sweet spots about this being an entertaining experience, a fun experience, a reason to go do it, but the pressure on the sector as the whole, and they're having strong competitors. I mean, that's not necessarily that exciting a story, but it's still...
Who else is vulnerable, do you think? Christmas tree shops, are they still strong?
Don't even say it.
That scares me.
Yeah, again, because you start thinking about people's changing patterns of behavior. There's a shift towards high foot traffic areas. So when you look at what's been happening to retail rents and where people go, there's a concentration on Boylston Street, not just for the duck boats, but actually for the shopping. So the shopping numbers are up on Boylston Street, on Newbury Street, in the high-end malls like Natick. They're about the same in the sort of the second tier. And in the third tier, big locations where people used to go because there was a big store where I could find a lot of stuff and look at it, traffic to those places is down, the value of the retail real estate is dropping. So this is part of a big shift that's happening as a whole. Changing consumer behavior, changing the economics of retail.
Gail, you're going to have to get your fix this weekend.
I know.
Gail Huff, thank you so much. Michael Davies, thanks for coming.
My pleasure.